print out a certificate. You earned it. You reached day 19 in our C++ journey. As I congratulate you, stand by because this video is about to start. This is the Savage Scientist Ed right here, and I'm writing code in a police car. This is the end of video 1 in our journey to learn C++. And like I said, print yourself a certificate because you earned it. Now don't go and buy a WWF belt just yet. At the end of the next video, then you earn that belt. Let's talk about the resources we used for this course. C++ in 21 days is one great resource. Following this book will help you. And the second resource, the STL, Standard Template Library by this guy, Nikolai. Last name starts with a J. So I'm going to put links in the description to both of these books and also other resources that we use to learn C++, because just because you finish this course, that doesn't mean the learning is over. So some of the things we covered in this course, starting on day 1, we had our introduction to programming and setting up DevC++, and we also set up VS Code. We talked about compiling and a lot of the necessary stuff that you would have to understand before starting a program, like what is a compiler, what is a programming language, all that stuff. So then on day 2, we created our first program, a Hello World sample program. It was very basic, but it was to get your feet wet in learning C++. So on day 3, we looked at some of the C++ keywords, the syntax, and we went into what the compiler's job is. So on day 4, we got user input, and we looked at the IOStream functions. Day 5, we looked at data types, variables, and C++ naming conventions. That was a great video if you want to get into understanding camel case, arrow case, and all that other stuff. So that was day 5. Day 6, we went into some of the math and arithmetic operations. And on day 7, we looked at Boolean logic. I'm putting a real square around this one because this is what makes computer science logic. So if you have any trouble with understanding how if loops and how the loops work, then make sure you go back to this video. And we recapped everything from day 1 all the way to day 7 on day 8. That was our recap. So at the end of day 7, we left off with Boolean/logical operators. Then we went straight into loops and conditional statements. This is another important topic that makes it so when you understand this, then you're a real programmer. So then we moved into C++ functions. Very, very important part of the C++ language. If it wouldn't be for functions, you wouldn't really have a program. So we talked a lot about functions, and really everything going to the end of these videos were about functions in some way, fashion, or form. And after we covered functions, we started talking about C++ pointers and references. That's one of the things that makes C++ such a powerful language, and the C programming language, is the fact that you could refer to the memory location of your data using pointers and references. And to also continue with our topic on pointers, we talked about function pointers. Another important feature of the C++ language is basically creating a generic function that you could plug in the function at runtime or whenever it's necessary in our programs. If you go into game design, game development, function pointers are used a lot. After we covered function pointers, we started talking about structures. So structures in C gave rise to classes. So on C++ object-oriented programming, day 1, we covered classes. This is extremely important, all 3 of these videos, because we covered classes here and we started to use constructors here. So on our 3rd object-oriented programming day, we separated the implementation file from the interface. And that's basically how APIs work. And then on day 17, we covered exception handling and debugging. Don't mind this badly drawn circle because it's not important. We covered exception handling and debugging on day 17. And then the long one, the video you just watched, which should be about 2 or 3 days in its own, was this. C++ STL. And you notice it's STL1. We're going to talk more about the STL in part 2 of this course. So STL is a very important part of the C++ programming language. That's the standard template library. We went over what templates are, and we played with vectors, strings, and more to come. So really, the final exam for this course would actually be being honest with yourself. Do you really have a decent understanding of these topics? Because if you don't, then go back, review them, do a few programming examples, and have fun learning this stuff. Programming is supposed to be fun. If you don't like programming, then stop watching these videos and go find something else to watch. But if you're serious and you think this is fun, then continue on to video 2.